A very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to UEI Global Pune. Today's session or today's demo class is the main topic for this is fresh pasta making or freshly handmade pasta. The word pasta, when it comes to our mind, what we think it is about a penne or a spaghetti or a packet pasta. But I'll just share some important information related to pasta. It is like obviously pasta, the origin is from Italy, but simultaneously it is also eaten in other parts of Europe, example Germany or Austria or some other parts. For a pasta or a fresh pasta, the main ingredient for that what we use it is semolina or a durum whole wheat. If you will see the packet of a spaghetti pasta or a penne pasta, it is mentioned there it is made from durum whole wheat flour. So today we will be using semolina for sure. A traditional recipes goes with the fresh pasta. It is like per 100 gram of flour. With that, one medium egg. For example, if you want to make a flour of half kg, so 5 eggs will go in that. Eggs, yani whole eggs, a whole egg with both white as well as yolk. Many of the time people prefer to have eggless pasta nowadays. So the recipe which I will be sharing with you all, or the pasta what I will be making, it will be 100% eggless. So like for example, if you are using egg, the substitute we can use nice quality of semolina durum whole wheat flour and also a mixture of refined flour. Some people also use in the pasta recipe a little bit of agar agar, which I personally do not recommend, but it's again a personal choice. The recipe for pasta I'll just tell you in a while, but before that I'll just share the information with related to various shapes. Like in Italy, as and when you change the state or as and when you change different or their original places are known for their pasta. For example, in Sardinia, southern part of Italy, they are having their own specialty pasta known as crujonas. If you will travel to towards north, their pasta is very much different. Like for example, if they are having nice cultivation of tomatoes, example Rome, so they are having pasta which is having a nice base of tomato sauce. The pastas varies in different shapes, also in different size also. For example, the pocket pasta which is having cavity in that, and we fill some kind of a stuffing which is generally known as ravioli or tortellini or tortelli, depending upon the size, depending upon the structure. It is not like compulsory that you need a pasta machine to make pasta. In fact, today what pasta we will be making today, hand rolled pasta, it is just simple ingredient and simple equipment what I am using. In this there is no use of any kind of a pasta machine, or there is no use of any specific ingredient or equipment. What I feel, whatever equipments and ingredients I am using, it's generally available throughout at your home also, in the institute also, where you can just make it on. Fresh pasta is also having one of the main significance, like it is being prepared fresh and it is consumed freshly. So hence it is important, and the taste varies as compared to the packet pasta. Because packet pasta is being stored, they use different kinds of preservative, but this is a good source like what we make the fresh pasta. Going further with that, first and foremost, today we'll be making the first recipe. It is generally a pasta dough recipe, normal one. So as I told you, it will be an egg-less recipe. For in that I am taking 100 grams of semolina. Okay, you can just see the semolina. It is fine durum whole wheat semolina. Then in this recipe I am using 60 grams of refined flour or all-purpose flour. 60 grams of refined flour or all-purpose flour. Then with this, now I'll just use a little bit of olive oil. I'll just make a well and I'll put a little bit of olive oil, that is around 1 teaspoon. Done. That's it. So many chefs or many recipes are with salt, but in this all recipes of mine I do not add any salt in the dough. Why? Because the water where we'll be boiling, or many times when we make the pasta it is without the salt, but the water in which it acts as a blancher, there is lump sum amount of salt in that. So I feel no need to add salt in this recipe. Okay, and So I'll just start, and the water is according to the recipe. The water I'm using, it is hardly 40 ml of water. So here I'll just mix all the ingredients. I'll combine the semolina nicely with refined flour. I'll just give you a reminder, the recipe what I'm making, it is just an eggless recipe. So I combined all the ingredient here. For the dough formation, it is very much important that the refined flour and the semolina should get evenly mixed thoroughly, so that will not have any other obstacle while making different sheets and shapes in the process. So here there is the main work of the kneading. Now you can see slowly and steadily there is a formation of the dough. Very much important that to combine all the ingredients thoroughly, whether you make this into a planetary mixer or whether you make it manually by hand, but very much important that the semolina should get mixed properly with all other ingredients. So if you will see the consistency, the dough consistency, it is a semi-soft dough. So just assume that if you are adding egg in that, the water, it is no need to add water, will be only for the binding, that's it. So here is the formation of the dough. Now what I'll do, I'll just apply a little bit of olive oil, and I'll keep the dough for a rest for almost 5 minutes. A little bit of olive oil. Done. And with the cloth, I'll just keep this for a resting period of 5 minutes. So this is one of the dough. If you want to give slight color, like for example, if you want to give a red color or a green color, so what I've made a color with the help of the beetroot. So you can just replace the normal water and you can add this water, so it will be a red color dough. If you want to give a green color dough, you can just blend nice spinach, remove the water, and that water you can use for your dough formation. Okay. Next recipe, what I'll be making next dough, it will be basically also known as gnocchi or gnocchetti. The recipe comprises, or the traditional recipe tells that there is a use of the egg, but today again we'll be making without egg. So first and foremost, in the recipe I'm using refined flour, that is 40 gram, semolina 40 gram, refined flour 40 gram. In this recipe I'll just use a pinch of salt and mashed potato, which is been thoroughly nicely boiled, and as you can see there are no lumps. The potato is very much soft, the mash is very much soft, so I'll use the mashed potato in the recipe. So I'll combine all the ingredient and olive oil. So mashed potato in this recipe, it is 80 grams, 40 grams of refined flour and 40 grams of semolina flour. This is the recipe for the gnocchi. The smaller version if we'll make, then the name will be gnocchi. This is the bigger version we are making, gnocchi. Gnocchi goes very nice with basil pesto sauce or tomato sauce or any sauce which is also a meat base. So we'll do the formation for the gnocchi too. In this I'll use slightly water which is almost about 15 ml just for the binding purpose I'm using. Just for the binding purpose I'll use the water. In this recipe if you are using egg, so for sure there is no need of water in that. I'll add all the water. And as you can see, the binding process is almost, the potatoes have got bind properly with the refined flour and semolina. Again, the gnocchi dough, it will be a soft dough. So first we'll shape the gnocchi itself and we'll wait for the pasta dough. Again we'll give a resting. A little bit of refined flour in this maida. So first we'll shape gnocchi itself. So the process is very much easy to shape the gnocchi. I'll just cut, I have divided the dough. After dividing the dough, here I'll form a cube like thing. And then I'll just roughly blend it out. Some dusting required. So here what I'll be doing, here I'll be rolling it into a cylindrical shape for the formation. Very much simple. And then after that cylindrical shape, with the help of a fork, okay, with the help of the fork it will be like, I'll just dust a little bit of flour, okay, here's one shape and curl it on, here's one shape and curl it on. Gnocchis, if you will boil in nice salty running water, just add a little bit of olive oil. It is recommended to add the olive oil while boiling process, and it will take hardly 2.5 minutes. Means when you boil, the gnocchi will float on top of the layer or the pot, means it has been properly boiled, and then it is ready to add in the sauce. So this is the process of gnocchi. You can just focus on the shape, okay. So this is one of the shape, also known as gnocchi. Like for example, now if you want to make smaller shapes than this, then the name it will be gnocchi. I'll show you one more example. Gnocchi, the smaller version. Very tiny and the small one, it will be gnocchi. The smaller version, gnocchi. The bigger version, we say it is a gnocchi. So these are gnocchi. Going further with our next dough. Now we'll use the dough. Here the pasta dough, as you can see, it is nicely, there is a nice formation of the dough, and now it is ready to roll. I'll just divide the dough. Here I have divided the dough into two. Now with this we'll be making ravioli, tortellini, and different kinds of stuffed pasta. A generous amount of dough for flour for the dusting I'm using. Remember the same thing, like you can also make with the help of a proper pasta machine or a pasta sheeter, what they use in the industry. But we can also make, like for example, if you're having guests 10 to 15 people, you can easily make this pasta at home itself and you can store it. I'll just roll it to the soft and thin thickness. Some semolina and some flour for the dusting. It's very much important that if you keep the dough covered, means the dough is nicely moist. If the dough dried up, then it is very difficult to make the shape and the cuts for your desired pasta what you need. So this pasta what I'll be making the ravioli, tortellini and tortelli. You can just see the thickness. It is not up to that thin consistency. I'll just roll it more. Now in this case, the stuffing what I'll be using here, it is just spinach, corn, cheese and garlic and a little bit of cream what I've used in this stuffing. You can do different stuffing, like you can use mushrooms in that. You can use different types of vegetables if you want. Even there is a stuffing which is based with a fish, like you can just boil or you can steam the fish steak, and with the help of that you can just put into the blender and make a smooth fine paste and you can make a stuffing. So this is just spinach, corn and cream and cheese what I've used in this. So I'll be stuffing that. The first one we are making tortelli. So for tortelli it is very much simple. Here I'll drop the stuffing exactly in between. Okay. And with the help of the water or a water sprinkler, I'll just give a binding so that it will stick easily. Just seal nicely the pockets so that after going into the hot boiling water it will not tear it. And this is tortelli. I'll make one more. Little bit of water, I'll just show you again. Little bit of water, not much, just for the binding, just that it sticks and it holds back as a pocket. And slightly I'll just make a pocket. After making the pocket, I'll just put a little bit of water to one end and done. So this is one of the kind of the pasta. Tortelli. Next, going further, you can do also like this. Like for example, here I'll be using two different sheets. In that sheet, I'll just put the stuffing. Okay, nice generous stuffing. And after that, I'll apply water on all sides equally. Once the formation is done, I'll just simply put another sheet on top of that and it's ready. Make sure for this type of pasta it is very much important to seal it nicely, because in running boiling water that there might be a chance that it might float out the stuffing. So I'll just give a finishing with the help of the fork. Going with another shape. Now it will be again one more stuffed pasta. A little bit of stuffing in this. And again water for binding. You can also use, if you want to make with egg, you can also use a little bit of egg for the binding purpose. So this is one, and here I'll change it to another one. So here you will see there will be a 4 pocket formation and one more. Another kind of a stuffed pasta, also known as ravioli. The reason why I am putting flour constantly, it is like the pasta during the storage, it should not bind together, or it should not stick together. For this reason I am constantly putting some flour to avoid that stick to each other. Again for the binding. This pasta you can store in your refrigerator, especially in the freezer, for almost a month, pertaining what kind of a stuffing it is having. Like for example, this is completely a veg stuffing which is having very less cream and cheese, so you can store it in your freezer. So a la minute, whenever you want, you can just remove it and you can just boil it with any of the sauce. Now with this only I'll try to make one more very well-known pasta. The name for this pasta, it is like many people say that it is fettuccine, but traditional Italian name for this pasta, it is tagliatelle or tagliatelle. Many people are confused that we should call them fettuccine or tagliatelle, but the traditional Italian name for this pasta, it is tagliatelle. So into small, thin, very fine strips. This pasta goes very nice with bolognese sauce or tomato sauce. The another kind of the pasta which I would like to add on with this, it is also known as maloredos, one of the traditional recipe which is eaten with some vegetables or broccoli into that. So same dough. And equally I'll just cut same as gnocchi. Now I'm just using this normal grater which is very much available in our kitchens at home or institute. You can just shape with the help of the grater. Other than that, it has been also like we use a kind of a board where we shape the size. So it's like, okay. You can use other side also if you want, but it is recommended to use a smaller one. This pasta name is Maloredos, which is very much similar to gnocchi. Again, very nice pasta which goes with a nice lamb stew based sauce. I'll just repeat the names for the pasta. Gnocchi, gnocchetti, the smaller version is gnocchetti, gnocchi, gnocchetti, tortelli or tortelloni, again tortelli a kind of a thing, then tagliatelle, ravioli and maloredos. So these are some shapes. Actually, if you will see, there are n number of shapes, n number of different kind of pasta which we can make easily at our homes also. Now I'll just tell some important tips while boiling the pasta. Like for example, the packet pasta what we usually boil, it takes around 7 to 8 minutes for a half kg or 1 kg pasta packet. But these pasta, the fresh pasta, generally do not require so much time. Actually, in nice boiling water with nice salt, nice olive oil into it, the boiling water, as soon as you get that boiling point, you can drop the pasta and it will hardly take 3.5 minutes or less than that for your fresh pasta. Especially the gnocchi, if it floats on top of the layer, means it is completely done. Like that we cook the fresh pasta. Okay, I hope you really liked it. I hope this session was an informative session where I could give a specific different knowledge with related to the pasta. I am Rizwan Sheikh, UEI Global faculty, signing off. Thank you very much.